Hey everybody, today we're going to be focusing on how to paint the scales, the scale shields of the Saurus Knights. So, for today, all we're going to focus on is the shield scales and the little teeth or horns that grow that are on the side. So, for this, let's get started. If you notice, I already base coated the teeth and the shield. I base coated the shield off camera using corn red. So, for right now, we're going to use a shade. For this, we're going to use Nuln Oil. If you don't want to use Nuln Oil, you could of course use Carrotbird Crimson. But we're using Nuln Oil to help darken down the recesses. Shake up your paint. And this is the new Nuln Oil, so if you have the old one, that will work just fine. Got some wash on my thumb. Alright, take some Nuln Oil from the pot and put on the palette. Alright, so all we're going to do is basically, we're going to shade the scales. Everywhere where you see scales. And we're going to use a different wash for the horns on the shield. All right, that's that done. Okay, so now for the bones, all we're going to use is Seraphon Sepia. So this is just another wash. This is the old Seraphon Sepia. If you have the new one, you can use that as well. All right. Here, take some Seraphon Sepia and put it on the palette. Not too much. So all we're going to do is we're going to take some Seraphon Sepia and just put it on all over the teeth or the horns on the shield. So all you're going to do, shade it a little bit. Not too much. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, so with that shade applied, so all we're going to do is we're going to highlight certain areas of the shields. So this may be a little time consuming, however, it is really worth it if you take your time. So, where's my fine brush? Here it is. For this, we're going to highlight the shield scales using Wazdacker Red. So, take some Wazdacker Red from the pot and put on the palette. And if it's a little chunky like this, don't worry, you just have to thin it down quite a bit. Okay, and if you have paint all over your brush like this from a goopy paint, wash off your brush real quick. Perfect. Alright. Take some on your brush. Perfect. Okay, all we're going to do is we're going to highlight the edges. So just follow the edges of where you see an individual scale. May be time consuming, but trust me, the effect is really worth it if you take your time. And if you want, you can just highlight certain areas of the scales to give them a little more area differentiation. What I like to do is that you can highlight certain edges, so that way you leave the bottom down to give it a nice highlight like what you say on normal scales, like say on reptiles or fish. All right. Is that it? All right. That's the scales done up to a pretty standard. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.